Greetings from Hanover. I'm here at the IAA Transportation checking out the newest electric trucks. At Nano Janssen, we already ordered many of the models displayed here, and they will be delivered later in 2025. I'm currently at the Daimler truck stand, and behind me is the Mercedes Eactros 600. It features the new Pro cabin, which is Mercedes's latest design. It's 10% more aerodynamic, which helps reduce overall energy consumption by 3%. This new design is also being integrated into their combustion trucks, as you can see in the background. The truck is equipped with LFP batteries that are installed sideways. It has 3 battery packs, each with 207 kilowatt hours, totaling 621 kilowatt hours. Thanks to the LFP technology, 600 kilowatt hours are usable. This energy powers an electric axle with 2 electric motors and a 4-speed transmission that transfers power to the rear axle. It's available both as a chassis truck and as a tractor unit. We've ordered 10 of these trucks, and I'm excited to see how they perform. Here's another view of the chassis variant with 3 axles, where the rear one is a lift axle. It comes with a CCS charging port on the left side, as standard, but you can opt for an additional CCS port on the right. There's also an optional preparation for MCS charging. Interestingly, the charging port is positioned quite far back, but it's not really an issue. One noteworthy feature is the battery guarantee. 1.2 million kilometers or 745,000 miles and up to a certain degradation threshold. That's a figure that should impress any logistics company, especially since it's less common for trucks to drive that much before they get replaced. I'm now at CATL. CATL is the largest supplier of battery cells for commercial vehicles. They've displayed various battery cells that you can actually pick up and examine. These are prismatic cells, essentially cubic shapes with positive and negative terminals on top. They come in different performance variants. There are high-performance cells with even higher energy densities, which are ideal for hydrogen trucks because those need to deliver the same power with far fewer batteries. Then there are the more cost-effective cells, used for battery electric trucks, as the cell load is much lower in those applications. I asked why only LFP cells are on display here, and they had a clear answer. LFP has become the gold standard. In China, NMC cells aren't even considered anymore. They exclusively use LFP cells. So it's only a matter of time before every truck in Europe is equipped with these types of cells or similar chemistries. The great thing about all this is that you can calculate everything. If you take the 621 kilowatt hours of this battery, the cells alone weigh just under 3 tons. And Mercedes installs these cells in just 3 battery packs, so there isn't much additional weight added. By comparison, my Iveco has 9 battery packs, which require extra housing, cooling systems, and so on. As a result, the Iveco has an empty weight of 12 tons for the tractor unit. That's still quite reasonable, but give it a few more years, and advancements in cell technology or improvements to LFP cells will further reduce weight. For the European market, range doesn't need to increase much, but when you look at places like the USA or Australia, they have entirely different distance requirements and driving and rest time regulations. That's why those markets will especially benefit from new or improved cell technologies. I'm currently at Scania's stand, and behind me is the new version of the Scania 40R. The version we have has a 624 kilowatt-hour battery, and this model has 728 kilowatt-hours, so an additional 104 kilowatt-hour pack that is located under the cab, making it one of the trucks with the largest batteries currently available. The drivetrain has also changed. Our version has a drivetrain with 3 electric motors and a 6-speed gearbox. This one has only 1 electric motor and a 4-speed gearbox, which apparently increases efficiency by cutting down on complexity and saving weight. They've also given it a subtle facelift. I'd say this version can probably go 100 kilometers farther than ours. Plus, the weight distribution in the chassis is now better. The real highlight isn't at Volkswagen's stand, but directly across from it, the Tesla Semi. Unfortunately, there's very little technical information available, but you're probably already familiar with this vehicle. There's a small model of its electric axle here, which uses 3 Model S plaid motors. As for the charging standard, no additional details were shared. Tesla has come to Germany to learn what European logistics companies expect from an electric truck. And honestly, it's pretty straightforward. They need a truck that can be approved for use in Europe. As it stands now, this vehicle isn't compliant. For starters, it doesn't have a sleeper cab. So, Tesla would need to make some significant modifications to make the Semi viable in Europe. For now, it's just a show truck. What will really matter are the hard facts, when it's available to order, and what changes Tesla will implement to adapt it for this market. I'm at the charging port and carefully opened it. You can see it's neither MCS nor CCS, but rather a proprietary Tesla design. The charger resembles a V4 supercharger, but I believe it's much thicker and larger. The cable is absolutely massive, with clear positive and negative connections. You immediately notice that the cab is smaller, with an emergency seat on the right. You've got a central steering wheel flanked by two screens, similar to Model 3 and Y displays. The right screen shows navigation and blind spot cameras, while the left focuses on mirror views and vehicle settings. You can open storage compartments, control the frunk, and open or close the charge port, all from the screen. The air pressure for the braking systems is displayed in PSI, not in bar like in Europe. The steering wheel appears to be a unique Tesla design, different from other models. There's lots of storage, including drink holders. I typed in Nano Janssen and it calculated the route instantly. Starting with 83% battery, it estimated arrival with 34%, which gives it an estimated range of around 500 kilometers or 310 miles. I'm now at the MAN booth, standing in front of the ETGX, currently the largest electric truck in MAN's lineup. It delivers a power output of 400 kilowatts, similar to Scania's models. However, what stands out here is the battery technology. The EGTX is equipped with 480 kilowatt hours of usable capacity, giving it a range of approximately 400 to 450 kilometers. The compact design allows the fifth wheel plate to be positioned lower, making it easier to mount larger trailers. This is particularly crucial for industries like automotive logistics, where transporting megaliners is essential. Interestingly, despite MAN and Scania being part of the same group, the ETGX uses CATL cells, whereas Scania uses Northvolt cells. Another notable feature is its charging setup. On the right side, there's a CCS port, while on the left, there's an MCS port. The MCS port placement is standardized on the left, but typically, CCS ports are also moving to the left side across the industry. However, you can opt out of the MCS and instead have a second CCS port installed. I'm currently at an evening event at MAN, and I just found out that Nano Janssen has also ordered 5 ETGX trucks, and my advice to any fleet owner today would be to go for 2 CCS ports instead of the MCS, as the CCS is far more useful right now. And in the future, you can retrofit or modify it if needed. I'm currently at the E.ON booth, and you can see behind me the two types of infrastructure that are being built today. On one hand, there are the classic Alpatronic systems, where the power electronics are integrated into the casing. On the other hand, more and more of these standalone dispensers are emerging. In this case, the power electronics are located centrally, and the station only has a single cable attached. I think the standalone dispensers will become more common because they offer more flexibility with the charging power. You can have anything from a 50 kilowatt overnight charger to a 400 kilowatt for someone who needs to leave quickly. You don't have to decide in advance whether to use the big or small charger, which makes the infrastructure more adaptable. It will be interesting to see which option the fleet operators will choose and what ultimately becomes the standard. This is the Ford F-Line E, which only comes in this configuration, not as a tractor unit. The truck is available in either a 6x2 or a 4x2 configuration. The NMC battery has a capacity of 392 kilowatt hours, but they wouldn't tell me the cell supplier. The range is up to 300 kilometers, and the motor uses a classic setup with a drive shaft and a 3-speed transmission. This is the first step for Ford trucks into the electric truck sector, so they have to start somewhere. The truck charges on the left side with CCS with up to 350 kilowatts. I didn't expect Ford to have an electric truck at this exhibition, but here it is. Deliveries are expected to begin in mid-2025. I'm back at the Iveco stand because of the hydrogen truck behind me, which also comes from the Iveco-Nikola partnership. I was curious why my truck with its 700 kilowatt hours is weighing 12 tons, even though it has NMC batteries. I think the reason is that it has 9 battery packs and each casing adds weight. I wondered why they used 9 packs, especially since Mercedes has managed to fit all the batteries into 3 battery packs. And the reason is standing behind me. This hydrogen truck uses the same setup but has fewer batteries installed, because a hydrogen truck still has an electric powertrain. It's just that the hydrogen is used to recharge the batteries. In this case, there are 2 battery packs installed. This modularity is what makes my truck so heavy. And here's the second highlight at the Iveco stand. Behind me is the all-new Iveco Seway. Because the joint venture with Iveco and Nikola no longer has a future, Iveco has decided to develop the truck entirely on its own. Visually, it still looks the same, but technically, a lot has changed. It will now be available in a variety of configurations, since many setups with the huge Proterra batteries in the back weren't possible. You can see here that this is now classic Iveco technology, including digital side mirrors, The interior is also back to the traditional style with no giant screens, which I almost regret. As for the battery, the manufacturer in this case is Micro West, because Proterra was bought by Volvo. With this new battery configuration, Iveco can be more flexible. The Seway is also available as a tractor unit, but the maximum configuration includes 7 battery packs of 70 kWh each, meaning a total of 490 kWh. This is considerably less than my version, but there is an option with 2 more battery packs, but not for the tractor unit. So, it could be seen as a step backward in terms of battery size, but in terms of performance, it's comparable because the E-axle remains the same. Here is the CCS plug, still with double covers for some reason, even though it can't charge with AC. I would say this is a step towards scalability for Iveco, enabling them to produce various configurations at lower prices. But I'm really happy to still have my version. Equally important as the trucks themselves is fast charging infrastructure. That's why I'm here at Milence. Milence is a joint venture between Volvo, Daimler Trucks and Traton, meaning Scania and MAN are also involved. Their goal is to build a pan-European fast-charging network, and some of their first charging parks are already up and running. Here you can see how things typically start, with an Alpatronic charger, likely a Hook 400 with 400 kilowatts. These are usually positioned between trucks to allow for left-side charging, and this looks like a demo model of a megawatt charging connector. You can see how massive it is, especially the large plus and minus pins. While most trucks are not equipped for it yet, it's clear these will eventually become the standard. For now, though, the CCS connector is more than sufficient for most use cases due to mandatory rest times. They also have an interactive map, which gives you a sense of how truly pan-European this network is shaping up to be. The orange markers represent locations under construction, while the green ones are already live. This particular site doesn't have a roof yet, but future locations will include one. It's clear they have big plans to make battery electric truck transport seamless across Europe. And there is more to see at the Milence stand, the Renault E-Tech T. The truck stands out visually with its cool lighting that pops in the dark. Renault is part of the Volvo group, so the technology behind it comes from the same platform as the Volvo FM and FH, with 540 kWh NMC battery packs mounted along the sides. The electric motor is likely positioned centrally or up front, paired with Volvo's classic 16-speed gearbox. So, while there's technically nothing new here, it's reliable and proven tech that works well. I'm now at the Volvo booth, the market leader in electric trucks. While they announced a new model ahead of the show, it's not displayed here. Instead, their current flagship, the Volvo FH Aro Electric, is showcased. In the new Aero version, several improvements have been made. Due to updated EU regulations, the front end has been redesigned for better aerodynamics and therefore better efficiency, but the extended length doesn't translate into more cabin space for the driver. This model is already available for order and has significantly better delivery times compared to other manufacturers. Volvo has announced plans to introduce an electric truck with a range of up to 600 kilometers, raising the question of how additional batteries will fit into the drivetrain. To address this, they've showcased a cutaway model of their upcoming FH Electric with maximum range capabilities. This new model will feature an electric axle with 2 electric motors integrated directly into it. Unlike the current configuration, it doesn't rely on the classic gearbox used in combustion engines, but instead uses a custom 6-speed gearbox developed by Volvo. This redesign frees up space in the chassis, as current battery packs are mounted only on the sides, leaving the center unused. By rethinking the layout, Volvo gains additional room for battery installation. It's possible they might also adopt solutions from competitors who have started placing battery packs under the cabin. The new long-range electric truck is expected to start deliveries by mid-2025, with more details likely to be revealed in the coming months. Given Volvo's extensive experience in electric trucks, this model will surely set a new benchmark. However, for now, the current 300-kilometer range model feels outdated in today's market, especially for long-haul transport. You can't talk about major truck manufacturers in Europe without mentioning DAF. I had to stop by their stand, especially since I've already tested their trucks. We're also expecting to receive a few of these trucks next year, and I'm excited to see how they perform in real-world operations. DAF has definitely made its mark in the electric world, offering a modern design with battery packs mounted on the sides and an additional pack under the cab. It's a forward-thinking approach, and DAF is positioning itself as a serious player in the market. They also showcase the smaller XB model, which will undoubtedly be interesting to watch in the coming years. I'm now at the Trailer Dynamics stand, a company I've talked about before. They specialize in producing trailers with batteries, which is such an exciting concept. Here you can see how the space between the rear axle and the support legs has been utilized. This trailer currently has 3 battery packs, each holding 200 kilowatt hours, adding up to 600 kilowatt hours total. This setup provides an additional range of about 600 kilometers. What's fascinating is the versatile design. It's developed to work with both diesel and electric trucks. Not only does it feature batteries, but it also includes a powered axle that can push the trailer forward and recover energy through regenerative braking. One clever detail is the symbolic pin at the front of the trailer. This pin detects the movements of the towing vehicle without requiring direct communication. This robust system allows the trailer to adapt to any tractor unit. You can see where the charging port is located, and there are multiple possible positions for mounting it. Naturally, the trailer includes a small user interface, so the driver can monitor its status, like whether it's charged or not. What's particularly fascinating is the integrated battery swapping system. While the batteries can be charged via the port, this trailer also features a system developed in collaboration with CATL. This setup leverages CATL's standardized battery swapping technology already established in China. This dual approach allows the batteries to be recharged conventionally or swapped out entirely. Here you can see how they envision the swapping setup. The idea is to have an automated system where the batteries are moved along and then shifted into place from below. Once in position, they are transferred to a storage rack, where they are slowly recharged in a grid-friendly manner. The key takeaway here is that the speed of charging is no longer the main issue. Charging speeds have become fast enough, but the limiting factor is the availability of grid capacity. In places where network connections are limited, a buffer storage system is necessary. That's where the battery packs come in. By integrating them, we can store energy and ease the strain on the network. It's exciting to see such innovative and creative solutions, because I believe we're still far from having figured it all out. There's a lot more to come in the next few years, and this is a great example of that forward thinking. Here's a great look at one of the battery packs. These are prismatic LFP cells from CATL, which are connected together into individual battery modules before being housed in this pack. At the bottom, you can see the connectors, which are used not only for the electrical connections but also for the coolant that circulates through the system. It's really cool to see how it all comes together in practice, especially since manufacturers typically keep such details under wraps. The trucks displayed today are already at a very high standard. At this point, every truck manufacturer offers an electric truck, and I have the feeling that there won't be too many groundbreaking new things in the next few years. The e-axle will eventually be standard for everyone, LFP cells will become the norm, and aerodynamic improvements will continue. And the technology that you can buy today is already incredible. So my advice to all freight companies is this: if you buy an electric truck now, you won't go wrong. It's not like there will be huge technological leaps every few years. You can start using them today, and the industry has clearly shown that. Still, it's impressive to see how much is happening in this sector right now. Since I'm here, I obviously want to test the Eactros 600 as well. So here we have a nice tractor unit with a fully loaded trailer weighing 39.7 tons. I'm now inside the truck. Here you have a large display with the range shown. The battery is at 88%, and it shows 430 kilometers of range. And here you can see the timer for driving and rest periods, helping to plan accordingly. You can also limit the charging, but the truck uses LFP batteries anyway, so charging to 100% is not a problem. You can adjust the charging and set a time when the truck needs to leave, and based on that, the battery is preconditioned and charges either quickly or slowly. And you can see where the power is currently flowing. You can also see the power output, and in the menu you can check the average consumption, average speed, how long you've been driving, and so on. It's on, it's already in drive, and you can see that it has selected the second gear. It's making a soft warning sound now, and it also has digital side mirrors. You can also set warning sounds for pedestrians so they can hear the truck. This is the first time I'm seeing the camera follow the movement, because you usually lose sight of the trailer when turning sharply, so this is an amazing feature. And this is the regeneration, the blue bar you see here. We can also drive in economy mode, which gives us only 85% of the maximum power. There are also the range and power driving modes. In power mode, you get the full 400 kilowatts of power with a boost function where 600 kilowatts is available temporarily, which is shown in orange at the bottom. What's also great is that you can see the end of the trailer in the digital mirrors. If we press the zoom button at the bottom left, all assistance systems are activated, including ACC, lane keeping assist, and the truck knows the speed limits and adjusts the cruise control automatically. It also knows the elevation profile of the route, adjusting power, and also adjusts to upcoming curves. It's really impressive that such technology is standard in new trucks. We're at a red light, completely loaded with 40 tons, and next to us is a DAF XF460 that doesn't know it's part of a comparison test. We have the power mode activated, and regeneration is completely off.
Und jetzt... Ui! Ui, ui, ui. Der ist leer.
He's probably empty.
Ja. Okay, ist gar nicht so schlecht.
But it's not too bad. Oh, but I forgot to use the boost. The Eactros 600 is really a great all-around package. They've thought of everything. The assistance systems and how it drives is fantastic. And I really appreciate that they're showcasing a fully loaded vehicle because any truck can accelerate when it's empty. I'm really looking forward to driving mine early 2025.